Nurse discovers incredible secret in Millionaire'S wife's report. Triggers life-changing decision. In the heart of Garner Grove, where each sidewalk crack contained the laughter of children and community bonds were built on shared meals and holiday fairs, Maria Davis found solace in the rhythm of her life. As a dedicated nurse, every late shift at Garner Grove Hospital was not just a job. It was her calling. Yet beneath the surface of her professional dedication lay the quiet ache of loss. Her husband, a brave soldier, had been taken from her, leaving behind two spirited children and responsibilities that felt like boulders on her weary shoulders. One chilly evening, while thumbing through files in the hospital's dimly lit break room, Maria's eyes settled on a familiar name. Evelyn Hart. The newsworthy elegance of her life, paired with her husband, the town's wealthiest tycoon, concealed a depth Maria knew all too well. A former friend. In a moment's hesitation, Maria opened Evelyn's file, and her heart began to race. The ominous words danced on the pages, a hidden diagnosis threatening Evelyn's life like a dark cloud looming over the sunny town. "God, no," she whispered, gripping the edge of the desk. The weight of knowledge pressed heavy against her chest, pulsating with the faint echoes of her husband's teachings: integrity, courage, sacrifice. Yet as the stark reality of her own financial struggles gnawed at her, uncertainty began to blossom within. Would revealing this secret help her own family, drowning in mounting bills? A soft sob escaped her lips. She wanted to scream the truth, to save Evelyn, and yet the shadows of doubt clawed at her mind. The thought of potential chaos and heartbreak weighed unfathomably heavy. She chose silence, retreating back into the background of her life, trying to forget the burgeoning storm inside. As the days slipped by, the annual charity fundraiser crawled closer. The community, with its school teachers and shopkeepers, began organizing, emphasizing unity and compassion in ways that tugged at Maria's heartstrings. She watched from the sidelines, her emotions swirling. People were giving everything. A flicker of hope ignited deep within her. She remembered her husband's smile, his whispers of truth and bravery. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." And then it happened. At the fundraiser, swept up in emotional camaraderie, watching faces beam with hope, Maria's determination solidified. The moment came, raw and poignant, when her eyes locked onto Evelyn's across the room, shimmering under the string lights. The fear enveloped her, but so did a newfound strength, a knowing that connections couldn't be broken, that the truth mattered. She approached, each step crescendoing in a symphony of unspoken history. Could she bridge the chasm between past and present? Or would fear drive them apart? The question hung in the air, rich with potential and heartache. As Maria opened her mouth to speak, an electric tension enveloped the room, holding everyone's breath, ready for the next heart-stopping development. Maria's heart raced as the crowd swirled around her, a vibrant tapestry of hope and possibility. She could see Evelyn across the room, laughing, her familiar radiant smile lighting up the space. But beneath it all, there was an undercurrent of urgency that tugged at Maria's heart. "Just say it, Maria. Just say it," she urged herself silently, her mind a storm of thoughts. Would revealing the secret mean shattering Evelyn's world? Or could it potentially save her? The tension was palpable, as though the world had paused, waiting for her words to break free. Evelyn turned, catching Maria's intense gaze. There was a flicker of recognition, a spark of memories shared, followed by confusion. Maria felt the weight of unspoken history hang between them. She took a deep breath, each inhale gathering courage. The moment stretched, heartbeats echoing in the silence that enveloped them. "Evelyn," Maria finally began, her voice steady yet soft. "Can we talk?" Disappointment flickered in the eyes of those around them, but Maria pushed the noise away. Evelyn's brow furrowed, sensing the gravity in Maria's tone. She stepped away from her circle of admirers, curiosity replacing the carefree laughter she wore like a badge. "Yes, of course. What's going on?" There was a slight tremor in her voice that betrayed her confidence. Maria took a step closer, able to smell the faint fragrance of lavender that surrounded Evelyn. It was a reminder of the carefree days they had once shared, united by their youthful dreams. I found something in your medical report, Maria started, but her voice faltered. She felt exposed. The words weaved a complex tapestry of fear, obligation, and an overwhelming need to protect. Evelyn's expression shifted from curiosity to concern. What do you mean? She asked, warmth fading from her demeanor. It's about your health, Maria managed, desperation creeping into her voice. There's a diagnosis I can't ignore. You need to know. The crowd had begun to hum again, whispers rising as they curiously watched the two women. Evelyn's color drained slightly, the usual sparkle in her eye dimmed ever so momentarily. Why were you looking at my report? Evelyn asked, her voice sharpened with layers of disbelief. Maria's chest tightened. I didn't mean to pry, but when I saw your name, I don't need anyone, especially not you, to meddle in my life. Evelyn shot back, anger and hurt curling into her words. The room jerked aside as though the energy shifted. But I care about you, Evelyn. You can't just ignore it, Maria pleaded, her heart thumping loud against her ribs. For a heartbeat, Maria wished she had kept silent. The silence danced between them once more, heavy and unnerving. The party continued around them, oblivious to the storm brewing within the small reality penned in that moment. Evelyn's eyes softened, but Maria could see the barriers rising. I appreciate your concern, but you don't understand, please. Let me help. You shouldn't have to fight this alone. You are worth so much more than denial. Maria's voice trembled as each word revealed a piece of her heart. I need some air, Evelyn murmured, breaking their gaze and retreating to the garden outside, the laughter from inside dimming behind them. Maria stood rooted for a long moment, her breath coming in shaky waves. Doubt clawed back into her thoughts. Should she have kept silent? Could she risk everything in her efforts to save someone she desperately cared for? And just then, a chilling gust swept through the open door, a reminder that time was slipping away. There was more at stake than just a friendship, and Maria knew the choices ahead would demand every ounce of her bravery. She took off after Evelyn, determined yet frightened. She had to face the truth, not just for Evelyn, but for herself as well. That as she pushed through the door into the cool night, she spotted Evelyn at the far end of the garden, her silhouette framed by shadows. Would she open up? Or would the truth remain unspoken, buried beneath layers of pride and fear? Maria squared her shoulders, the weight of the moment settling firmly in her bones. She was determined to bridge the distance. But did she have the courage to dive into an ocean of unresolved emotions? The moon hung low, casting a silvery glow on the garden. Maria felt the cool grass beneath her feet as she hurried toward Evelyn, her heart pounding with every step. The air buzzed softly with the sounds of crickets, their chirps echoing the tension that weighed heavily between the two friends. Evelyn stood alone, her back turned to Maria. The night breeze tugged at her hair, and for a moment Maria hesitated, wrestling with her own uncertainty. The distance felt insurmountable, a chasm filled with unspoken words and raw emotions. Should she approach gently, or dive headfirst into the storm? Evelyn, Maria called softly, the name barely a whisper against the night. Evelyn remained still, as if the world around her had faded entirely. Taking a breath, Maria moved closer, her heart aching for the open vulnerability she knew was necessary. Evelyn, please just talk to me, she pleaded, each word laced with both urgency and longing. I don't want to lose you. Finally, Evelyn turned, her face illuminated by the moonlight. The mask of confidence she wore in the party had crumbled, replaced by a fragile look of vulnerability that tightened Maria's chest. Tears glistened at the corners of Evelyn's eyes, reminding Maria that beneath the bravado was a woman grappling with something deeper. What do you want from me, Maria? Evelyn's voice trembled, a stark contrast to the laughter that had filled the party. What if you are right? What if what you found in that report is true? I want you to be okay, Maria exclaimed, her voice catching in her throat. You deserve to know what lies ahead. You can't fight this alone. Evelyn's gaze dropped, her fingers brushing the petals of a nearby flower. I'm scared, she admitted, her voice barely audible, almost as if saying it aloud somehow made the fear feel more real. I thought if I ignored it all it would go away. It doesn't work like that, Maria replied gently, stepping closer, vulnerability reflected in her own eyes. Ignoring it one tea make it disappear. You're stronger than you know, and facing this could be the first step toward healing. Evelyn looked up, eyes watery with the weight of her confession. But what if I'm not strong enough? In that case, Maria said, holding Evelyn's gaze with unwavering support, let me carry some of that weight. You have me. I one tea let you fall. A heavy silence settled as the truth hung in the air like the night, palpable and real. Evelyn inhaled deeply, trying to steady herself. I don't want to burden you with my problems, she finally said, her voice cracking. Maria reached out, brushing her fingers against Evelyn's arm. You're not a burden. You're my best friend. We're in this together, remember? You taught me the importance of facing life head-on, of not backing down from challenges. Evelyn closed her eyes, letting the warmth of Maria's presence embrace her. A part of her wanted to fight, to push back against weakness, but the other part felt drawn to the comfort of acceptance, the safety of connection. Okay, she whispered, uncertainty laced through every syllable. But it's terrifying. I know, Maria replied, her heart swelling with hope, but facing it together will make us both stronger. With a heavy sigh, Evelyn finally nodded, the barriers around her heart slowly beginning to crumble. The weight of unspoken fear started to lift, replaced by a flickering spark of courage, and just as Maria opened her mouth to speak again, the sharp sound of breaking glass echoed from the party indoors, a shattering reminder of how fragile life truly was. Both women turned toward the noise, hearts racing once more. Let us find out what that was, Maria urged, instinctively reaching for Evelyn's hand. The warmth of their clasp filled her with renewed strength as they moved back toward the light, their journey not yet over, but beginning anew as they stepped back into the world of laughter and light. Maria felt an urgency tether her heart. What other secrets lay waiting to be uncovered? What else would they have to face together? She looked sideways at Evelyn, the flicker of determination burning brightly. But the moment of truth was still looming ahead, keeping both women on the edge of their own uncharted futures. They barely made it through the door when the atmosphere shifted. The party was still in full swing, laughter ringing out like music, but there was an undercurrent of confusion. Maria's heart raced as she scanned the room, searching for the source of the commotion. What happened? Evelyn's voice was steady now, but Maria sensed the tension beneath the surface. A frantic figure bounded towards them. It was Clara, one of the hosts, her eyes wide with distress. You guys come quick. Someone's hurt. The word struck like a lightning bolt. Maria and Evelyn exchanged a glance, worry unfurling in both of them. Evelyn squeezed Maria's hand, and they followed Clara through the throng of partygoers, their instincts kicking in as they stepped into the living room. They were met with a panic-stricken crowd. In the center, a young man lay on the polished wooden floor, a tangle of limbs and shattered glass surrounding him. Maria's breath hitched in her throat as she moved closer, her nurse training kicking in. What happened? She asked, kneeling beside him. We were drinking, and he, one of the guests said, his voice shaking. He slipped and fell. I think he hit his head. Evelyn knelt beside Maria, her gaze shifting from the boy on the floor to Maria's face, seeking reassurance. Maria nodded, pushing her anxiety aside as she focused on the injured man. He was unconscious, a pool of blood slowly spreading beneath him. Call 911. She shouted over her shoulder. He needs help now. Clara was already on it, scrambling for her phone, the urgency of Maria's voice cutting through the chaos. Stay with me, all right? Maria spoke softly, tapping the young man's cheek to rouse him. His skin was pale, and she could feel the heat radiating from his body. Hey, can you hear me? You're safe. Help is coming. Evelyn's hand tightened around Maria's shoulder as she watched the scene unfold. The reality of the night sank deeper as the glass shards glinted like daggers around them. This wasn't just a party anymore. It was a wake-up call. After what felt like an eternity, sirens wailed in the distance. Relief surged through Maria but was quickly overshadowed by another thought. How often did they ignore the signs in their lives, allowing fear to silence their voices? This moment felt like a cruel reflection of their own unspoken worries. How often had she and Evelyn brushed aside the issues waiting to shatter their lives? Evelyn leaned closer, her voice a soft breath against Maria's ear. What if this is a sign? A wake-up call for us too? Maybe we shouldn't ignore the truth anymore. Maria turned her gaze toward Evelyn, the weight of her friend's words heavy in the air. You mean about your report? About us? Yes, Evelyn replied, her voice steady. What if this is about more than just him? What if we need to face what's waiting for us? The paramedics burst through the door, breaking the spell that had wrapped around them. They moved with practiced precision, taking over the situation as Maria backed away, heart still racing as she stood there. A thought struck her like a bolt of lightning. What will our truth be? She wondered aloud, unable to shake the weight of it. With the injured man being loaded onto a stretcher, Maria felt a fire igniting within her. They had always talked about confronting challenges, but this was more than just talk. This was about molding their fate. Evelyn turned to Maria, her eyes fierce with resolve. Let us not wait for the next wake-up call. Let us face our truths now. Tension hung between them, a promise of what was to come. What would they discover if they truly opened up? As they exchanged determined looks, the pulse of the party began to fade into the background. Everything was shifting, about to flip upside down. And they knew their lives might never be the same again, but what were they willing to sacrifice to face their own truths? And would they truly be ready for what lay ahead? The chaos of the party faded as the reality of their conversation pressed in on Maria and Evelyn. The excitement, the laughter, everything turned muted, an echo of what had just happened. The sirens had become a reminder that life was too fragile, and they were standing on a precipice. What do we do, Maria? Evelyn asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Her eyes reflected a mix of fear and determination. It was as if they were at a crossroads. How do we start facing our truths? Maria took a deep breath, feeling the weight of everything around her. This wasn't just about the party, or the boy on the ground, it was about them. They had been skirting around issues that loomed like shadows, always just out of reach but never fully addressed. I think, Maria began, choosing her words carefully, we start with what matters most. What scares us the most? Evelyn nodded slowly, digesting her words. That means I have to talk about the report. About how I feel about everything. About us. The realization settled in, and Maria felt her pulse quicken. They had danced around the truth for so long, each moment weighed down by unspoken words. Shivers shot down her spine at the idea of being vulnerable, but something deep inside urged her forward. Let us do it together, Maria said, squeezing Evelyn's hand. Let us not hold back. The air shifted around them. It felt charged like before a storm. All their years of friendship, laughter, and even misunderstandings had led them to this pivotal moment. It was time to lay bare what had been hidden. Clara rejoined them, her face a mix of relief and exhaustion. He's on his way to the hospital. The paramedic said he'll be all right, she said, her voice trembling slightly. That's good, Maria replied, but her heart remained heavy. Her resolve had been forged under the pressure of uncertainty. Are you two okay? Clara asked, her brows knitted with concern. We will be, Evelyn replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. We've just got some things to figure out. As Clara stepped away to talk to other guests, the weight of their conversation hung in the air like a thick fog. Maria looked at Evelyn, searching for affirmation. This was at the moment everything could change. Okay, let us take a breath. We do this one step at a time. No pressure, Maria said, trying to settle the whirlwind inside her. Evelyn took a deep breath, focusing her gaze on the crowd. I keep thinking about what could happen if we do find the courage. What if it brings us closer, or what if it breaks us? The uncertainty loomed, threatening to overwhelm them. Maria felt a pang in her chest. Isn't that the risk, though? That we could grow or we could shatter. But without trying we'll never know, right? Evelyn looked at Maria with eyes as deep as the ocean. What if we're stronger together? The flicker of hope ignited brightly, and a soft smile spread across Maria's face. Together. Whatever comes next, we face it side by side. The atmosphere, once so fraught with energy, began to shift again, this time toward understanding and resolution. Their fears didn't have to control them. They could turn them into a catalyst for change. As they moved through the party, Maria could feel an electric charge in the air. She caught snippets of conversations, laughter, but this time it all felt disconnected. The night would end, but their lives they could transform. What's next for you then? Evelyn asked suddenly, her voice hopeful for what could ignite from the discussion. I need to confront the truth in that report, Maria said, determination settling deep in her bones. Feels bigger than all of us. The music thudded softly in the background, almost like a drum echoing their hearts. But as the evening progressed, they knew the path ahead would not just be about reports and truths. It would be about bravery and the sacrifices they were ready to make for the sake of their friendship. As they left the room behind, a flutter of uncertainty hung in the air. Would they find the courage to uncover their buried feelings? Or would they retreat, letting fears dictate their future once more? The question loomed large. Were they ready to face what lay ahead? Or would they let their truths remain unspoken, shackling them forever? Maria's heart raced as they stepped into a quieter area of the house, the noise of the party fading into a backdrop of muffled laughter and clinking glasses. They had found a cozy corner illuminated by soft fairy lights. Maria caught her breath, feeling a wave of urgency wash over her. "Okay, let us talk," she said, trying to steady her voice. The seriousness of the moment hung heavy between them. Evelyn glanced around, ensuring they were alone. "What do I even say? I feel like I'm standing on the edge of a cliff." "Just start with what's weighing on you," Maria encouraged, knowing that this was it. The moment they had both feared and needed. Evelyn's eyes fell to the floor. "I've worked hard to keep things under control, but everything feels so out of alignment right now. The report, it's not just numbers or facts. It's personal. It's about everything I've sacrificed to fit into this mold." Maria's heart ached for Evelyn. She could see the burden she carried, layered beneath every word she struggled to express. "You don't have to fit a mold, Ev. You are so much more than what other people think." Taking a deep breath, Evelyn looked up. Vulnerability etched into her features. She continued, "I'm scared. Scared that if I share how I really feel, everything will fall apart. What if I lose the few things that hold value in my life?" "You're not going to lose me," Maria reassured, feeling a surge of protectiveness. "But we can't keep running from these feelings. They'll always be there, lurking in the corners." Silence fell as they both contemplated their futures. Maria bit her lip, preparing to wade into waters just as deep. "I'll go first then. I've been thinking a lot about my own path. I realized I can't keep pretending everything's fine at work either. The report is transforming from just a piece of paper into something that could change my whole world." Evelyn frowned slightly, her brows drawing together. "What do you mean?" Maria swallowed hard. "I know it's bigger than just numbers. There's a chance to challenge everything that doesn't align with who I am. I need to stand up for what's right, even if it means changing everything." The gravity of Maria's words hung in the air, immediate and sharp, much like the fabric of their new reality. Evelyn leaned closer, intrigued yet apprehensive. "But what if everything collapses around us? What will we do if we fail?" Maria smiled gently, as if a secret had been shared. "But what if we succeed? What if we make an impact? Wouldn't that be worth fighting for?" Evelyn's smile flickered back to life, a glimmer of hope sparking in her chest. "You really believe we can do this? Together?" "Absolutely," Maria exclaimed with fierce conviction. "We're stronger than we think. We just have to trust each other and take that leap." Just as the warmth of friendship enveloped them, a loud crash echoed through the party, pulling their attention back toward the commotion outside. Maria felt the chill of a sudden thought. Would their moment of courage survive the chaos of this world? Evelyn's eyes met hers, wide with fear. "Do you think we're really ready for what comes next?" Maria nodded slowly, uncertainty wrestling with determination within her. "We have to be. This is just the beginning." As they moved to rejoin the gathering, the question lingered in the air. Would they have the strength to walk that path, or would the noise of the party drown out their courage? And what about the truths still waiting to be uncovered? The moment they returned to the party, the atmosphere shifted. The air hummed with excitement, laughter echoing louder, as if the chaos outside was a newfound energy swirling around them. But Maria and Evelyn were still anchored in their own conversation, hearts pounding with unspoken roles shifting in their lives. "What was that crash?" Evelyn asked, her brow furrowing. "I don't know," Maria replied, peering through the crowd. "But it felt like a warning sign, didn't it?" Evelyn nodded, noticing a flicker of apprehension in Maria's expression. They exchanged glances before stepping into the sea of shimmering conversation. Friends and acquaintances danced obliviously through the living room, glasses raised in celebration. Yet, with every cheerful cheer, Maria felt a tightening in her chest. "Have you thought about what we'll say?" Maria asked, her voice lowered to a whisper, a private pact forming. "Next week's meeting? We need a plan." Evelyn hesitated, her lips pressing into a line. "Yes, but it's like standing in front of a thunderstorm. I can feel the electricity but don't know where it will strike. Let us channel that energy then. We can make a difference." Maria's eyes shone with heat, her enthusiasm igniting like a spark. Evelyn sighed, swallowing the lump in her throat. What if it blows up in our faces? What if our truth shatters everything we've built? Or, Maria interrupted, what if it strengthens what we have? You've come so far, Ev. You deserve to feel whole, to stand proud. There was a flicker of resolve in Evelyn's gaze, but it was overshadowed by doubt. "And you think I'm ready for this? For the consequences?" Feeling the weight of their unyielding truths, Maria squeezed Evelyn's hand firmly. "It's not just about being ready. It's about knowing we won't face it alone. You have me every step of the way." But the bold reassurance faded as they neared a group gathered around a table, their laughter fading into hushed whispers. The source of the crash lay at their feet, a shattered champagne flute glimmering amidst shards of glass. The partygoers' expressions had shifted, curiosity and concern mingling in the air. Someone stepped forward, lifting a glass filled with a different drink, an attempt to merge the chaos into a different celebration. "To new beginnings," the person exclaimed, oblivious to the tension seeping into the space. Maria's heart raced. It was now or never. What if we take that raise and leverage it for something greater? She prompted softly, her breath quaking with anticipation. "Okay," Evelyn agreed, a flicker of energy igniting her spirit. "Let us do it. Let us go for it." Suddenly, an unexpected voice broke through the cool tone, unmistakably coming from across the lively crowd. "Are you two planning something without us?" It was Jessica, the firm's partner, her sharp gaze locking onto Evelyn. Evelyn's heart sank. Would this be the moment to share their plans? Or would it become yet another instance where their courage was compromised? She could feel the weight of her decision press down. Just a little brainstorming," Maria said casually, though her nerves buzzed. "About the meeting next week." Jessica smirked, a knowing look flashing in her eyes. "Good, because you might need it. Change is in the air, and not everyone will welcome it." Evelyn exchanged glances with Maria, a wave of uncertainty crashing over them. They both knew that whatever awaited at the meeting would ripple out far beyond their expectations. "Let us talk soon," Evelyn said hastily, feeling the implications of Jessica's words squeezing her chest. Was this just the calm before a storm? As they turned to leave, the collision of emotions left them breathless. Would the storm break and reveal clarity, or drown them in the chaos? The questions loomed heavy in the air. What secrets would emerge when they faced the truth? And were they truly ready to fight for what they believed in? Evelyn turned away from the glow of the party, her mind swirling with doubt and determination. Each step felt heavier, the laughter fading into a dull backdrop behind her. Maria walked beside her, a steady force absorbing the electric tension fluttering between them. "Do you think she knows?" Evelyn finally whispered, glancing back at Jessica, who was now engulfed in conversation with others. "Maybe," Maria replied, her eyes narrowing slightly. "But we can't let that distract us from what we need to do." Evelyn managed a small nod, yet uncertainty gnawed at her. What was the point of planning if a single voice could uproot their resolve? They slipped into a quieter corner of the room, where the cacophony of chatter transformed into an intimate murmur. Maria leaned against a wall, arms crossed, while Evelyn paced. "We need to summon the courage to own our space. If we stay quiet now, we might regret it forever." "I know," Evelyn started, grasping for the right words. Then she exhaled a shaky breath. "I just don't want to lose everything. I've worked hard to build this life. Even if it feels like it's all on shaky ground now." Maria took a step closer, her presence grounding. "You've built something incredible, Ev. But it's not truly yours if you can't be honest about who you are, and what you want. This is about more than just us, it's about the people who look up to us." The weight of those words landed heavily on Evelyn's heart. She glanced at the bustling party across the room, friends laughing, sharing inside jokes. "I want to be brave, but I don't know how." There was a glint in Maria's eye, a mix of sympathy and fierce resolve. We start by being real. We share our ideas, our truths, and if it stings at first, we get through it together. Remember? You're not alone in this. But just as Honeysuckle, an old friend of theirs, appeared, her buoyancy instantly lifting the atmosphere, Evelyn felt an impending sense that something pivotal was unfolding. Hey, are we celebrating or lamenting? Honeysuckle asked, her laughter sweet and infectious. Both? Maria replied, a half-smile breaking through the tension. Evelyn joined in, but she could still feel the weight of the decision ahead. Conversation swirled, and new laughter offered bright moments. Yet each giggle felt like a reminder of their hidden struggle. Could she really bare her soul at that meeting? Listen, I want to talk to Jessica before the meeting, Evelyn said suddenly, her voice firmer. Maybe it will help to hear her perspective. What? Are you sure? She hasn't been supportive in the past, Maria warned, concern flickering through her features. Evelyn steadied herself, feeling an unexpected surge of defiance. It doesn't matter. I need to know where she stands. If everything feels uncertain, then let us tackle it head-on. No more running. Maria smiled, a glimmer of pride lighting her face. That's the spirit. Let us seize this chance. As they rejoined the party, Evelyn felt the pounding of her heart collide with the rhythm of the celebration. Each beat echoed in her ears, promising change. She caught a glimpse of Jessica again, the woman who seemed to carry both threat and opportunity, standing with purpose. Let us make this moment count, Maria urged softly, sensing the pivotal shift in Evelyn. Evelyn took a deep breath, squared her shoulders, and approached Jessica. Would this finite moment lead to freedom or turmoil? The answer lay just ahead, unseen yet tantalizingly close. Her path was clear now, but the crossroads of truth and consequence loomed brightly, ready to swallow them whole. What would Jessica say? And in this whirlwind of change, would Evelyn discover the strength buried within? Evelyn felt the air thicken as she approached Jessica. Her pulse quickened, each beat like a drum echoing the conflict within her. Jessica stood tall, commanding the space around her, her laughter mingling effortlessly with those around her. Yet there was something behind that warm smile, something daunting that made Evelyn's stomach twist. Hey Jess, Evelyn called out, her voice barely above the ambient noise that flooded the room. The words felt heavy, weighted with uncertainty. Jessica turned, her smile diminishing just a fraction. Evelyn, I didn't see you there. How is it going? Evelyn took a deep breath, searching for the right words. Do you have a minute? I really need to talk. Jessica's brow furrowed. Sure. What's up? They stepped away from the group, the chatter fading into the background. The temporary silence felt eerily loud, amplifying every doubt that flared inside Evelyn. Maria lingered nearby, her supportive presence a balm, but Evelyn wanted to stand on her own. I've been thinking about the project, Evelyn started, her voice steady but her heart racing, and about how we've been working together and sometimes against each other. She paused, gauging Jessica's reaction. Jessica crossed her arms, her expression shifting to one of guarded curiosity. Okay, go on. I know we've had our differences and some of what we're planning has caused tension, but I think it's really important for us to. Evelyn hesitated, struggling to find the words that would bridge the gap, to really align our goals, to share what's truly important to us. A silence enveloped them, thick and suffocating. Jessica looked taken aback, her demeanor shifting slightly. Are you saying you want to discuss our visions for the project? Because I thought we were all on the same page, Evelyn pressed on, her voice gaining momentum. No, it's more than that. I'm not just talking about the project. I'm talking about us, about who we are and what we stand for. And I'm afraid, Jess. Afraid of what might happen if we keep avoiding the real discussion. Jessica's steely exterior thawed for a brief moment, replaced by a flicker of something softer. You're afraid of me? Not you, Jess, but the consequences of what we're not saying, Evelyn replied, desperation creeping into her words. I want to be honest, and I need you to be honest with me too. Jessica sighed, the weight of her response lingering in the air. Evelyn. She hesitated, her gaze drifting away as if searching for something distant. I don't know if I can. Across the room, Maria's eyes widened, sensing the growing tension. Evelyn's heart sank. This was the moment she'd been preparing for. Only now it felt like the ground beneath her was giving way. Why not? She pressed, her voice trembling. Is it because you think I won't understand? Or because you think I'm trying to take something away from you? Slowly, Jessica unfurled her arms, her vulnerability slipping through her guarded facade. It's because I fear that if I expose myself I won't just lose this project but I'll lose you too. You mean a lot to me and I don't want that to change. Evelyn's heart softened at Jessica's honesty. What if it brings us closer? What if we both gain from this? The atmosphere shifted, the possibility of revelation hanging between them like a fragile promise. Evelyn felt a flicker of hope sparking within her. But she knew this was just the beginning. She needed to pull Jessica deeper, to turn their fears into strength. What's one truth you've been hiding? Evelyn asked softly, challenging as much as inviting. Jessica hesitated, the ripple of uncertainty palpable. Her eyes met Evelyn's, a storm brewing within them. Evelyn held her breath, acutely aware that a pivotal moment was unfolding behind those guarded expressions. What would Jessica reveal? And what would it mean for their futures, both personal and professional? The stakes felt impossibly high. But this was the nexus between their fears and hopes, and it was time to embrace whatever lay ahead. A silence suspended in the air as Jessica locked eyes with Evelyn, her internal battle evident. For a moment, the busy party melted away, the laughter and chatter fading to a distant hum, leaving only the two of them standing at this critical juncture. It's easy to hide behind business, Jessica finally spoke, her voice trembling. But I have always been afraid that if I show my true self, I won't be taken seriously. Her confession struck a chord deep within Evelyn. They were standing on the brink of vulnerability, the kind of honesty that could reshape their entire relationship. Evelyn felt warmth flood her chest, the weight of shared fears creating a bond stronger than walls built from doubt. That's the beauty of honesty though, Jess. Once we drop these barriers we can really grow. Together. With a hesitant breath, Jessica continued, I don't want to lose my position. I fought hard to get where I am. Letting my guard down feels like relinquishing my control. Evelyn shook her head gently. You're already in control by admitting this out loud. It's brave to show your true self, and it won't diminish your strength or your role. This was a moment of truth woven with empathy, a thread that could bind them as allies rather than rivals. Jessica paused, weighing Evelyn's words like they were a precious secret. I've always assumed being vulnerable meant weakness. But maybe it takes more strength to be open than I've realized. A flicker danced in Jessica's eyes, a glimmer of hope now pushing through the clouds of uncertainty. You really think we can navigate this together? All the challenges ahead? I know we can, Evelyn replied firmly, her heart racing with newfound conviction. The way you work, how you lead. It inspires me. Let us draw from that strength and build something incredible. But we need to let go of fears, misunderstandings, everything. Jessica inhaled deeply as clarity came rushing in. I'll commit. This project isn't just about results. It's about us, and that's scary but exhilarating. At that moment the door burst open. Clara reappeared, breathless with excitement. Guess what? There's a new proposal coming to the table, and they want to know our thoughts. The realization hit Evelyn like a wave washing over sandy shores. Their moment of truth would spread far beyond just the two of them. It could ripple through the entire community. Are you ready? Maria whispered, her presence a tether back to the shared purpose that had brought them this far. Yes, let us show up fully. Evelyn answered, determination sparking like fire. She felt something had shifted not just within her, but in Jessica too. Each heartbeat echoed with anticipation of what was to come. Together they stepped towards the gathering crowd, returning to the party with a new energy coursing through their veins. Maria beamed, eyes glistening with shared excitement. Ready? More than ever, Evelyn declared, her voice ringing with intention. She could sense the tide of change lifting them all. Each person they passed, every shared smile sparked a connection, creating an unbreakable thread weaving throughout the community. As they stepped into the center, the laughter resumed, but this time it felt different, like a wave of warmth washing over them. Evelyn faced Maria and Jessica, gratitude swirling in her heart. She felt understood, seen, and empowered. Let us make our voices heard. And when it was time to present their proposal, Maria stood tall at one end, Evelyn at the other, and Jessica confidently standing between them. Each woman represented the strength of their shared stories, their fears, Hopes and dreams intertwined like vines reaching toward the sky. Evelyn took a breath and began, her voice steady. We're not just here to present numbers, we're here to create. Together as a community that thrives on honesty, respect, and support. Jessica added, we carry the weight of our truths, and we can confront any obstacle, drawing on each other as strengths to elevate us. Their voices blended seamlessly, a harmony of genuine intention that captured the room. Maria felt her heart swell, a profound sense of connection igniting around them. Laughter, honesty, and collaboration enveloped them like the sweetest embrace. They stood united, ready to face the storm, knowing they would always emerge stronger together. When applause erupted, affirming their audacity to stand up as one, something resonated within them. It was a collective promise to prioritize honesty, authenticity, and connection no matter what trials lay ahead. As the night concluded, Maria felt the air shimmer with possibilities, a reminder of the profound transformation that had taken place. The friendship strengthened, the fears faced, and the courage exhibited would carry them toward the future, no longer shackled by uncertainty. And as they stepped out into the cool night air, hand in hand, they knew that whatever awaited them, secrets, challenges, successes, they would face it all together. Now this is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share this story with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive tales that await. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and comment your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. Let us spread the light of courage and change together.